you go. All right, good evening, everybody. I'm going to start muting you, everyone. Don't take it personally. We got a very special guest with us tonight, Reb Chaim Naiditch, as you see here, from Magen, Chicago. So, Reb Chaim, first of all, thank you. Thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. And thanks for all that you do. And thanks for this opportunity to tell us a little bit. So let's start at the beginning. What is Magen? And give us some background if you could.
Thank you, Rabbi, for having me. Welcome. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chaim Naiditch. I'm the founding president of Magen Chicago. Magen is a Hebrew word for shield, as in Magen David, the shield of David. In this case, we're trying to be the shield of Chicago, the safety and community shield for the Chicago area.
What prompted you to start this? Like, give us a little history, if you could. Why was this important to you? And if you can walk us through how you got this started and when you got it started and some facts and figures there.
Sure. So we started about 7.5 years ago. We're a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. We started maybe a year or two after the shootings in the Tree Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh and Poway. Obviously, synagogue security was on everybody's minds for unfortunate reasons. And Chicago, to answer your question, why did I start it? Because it needed to get done. You could sit and wait all day long and have someone else do it, and we probably would still be here without nothing getting done or get it going. So that's how we started. We started out in synagogue safety and security. So we started out with trying to train certain individuals in synagogues in threat recognition, threat avoidance, and basically hardening shuls and communication with police and medical. So we started with that, and thank God that became very successful. It took a long time, took numerous years to do that. We kind of learned through trial and error. We found out that it was best to get the Rabbanim on board. And we came up with our Shul Safety Officer program, as well as our Shul Safety Greeter program. We started out, that program started with 8 classes and evolved to about 20 classes per program. So we really evolved. Now we have, thank God, over 50 Shul Safety Officers and Greeters. We're about the same size as Hatzalah. And we're involved in approximately 35 shuls in the Chicagoland area.
Including our shul.
Sorry?
Including our shul.
Include your shul. Yes, we have the 3 very dedicated officers in your shul. Thank God.
So what is your personal background here? Do you have a background in security? Is this something you do professionally? How did you decide that this is your thing that you're going to do?
Yeah, so good question. My life before this, I was a professional airline pilot.
Oh, wow.
Also flight instructor as well. So my passion was training. And when you fly commercially, every single flight, the beginning of the flight, it's not that you're thinking negatively, but you're thinking what happens in the event of an engine failure at takeoff. That's the worst possible scenario. So you're constantly training. You're constantly preparing for the worst. So there's a saying in our industry: prepare for the worst, pray for the best. So you just can't sit there and in my opinion, you can't sit there and hope for the best. You have to prepare for the worst. So my passion and my expertise is in training, and that's kind of how we started. We started out with training. Last 7.5 years, I've picked up a couple of pointers on security, shul security, as well as neighborhood security, as well as community security. It's quite honestly, it's really not rocket science. It's a lot of it is common sense. And when you start dealing with different law enforcement agencies, you pretty much have the same thing that they're trying to teach you.
What was the response from the local police and so on? Were they supportive? Were they suspicious?
Well, let's put it like this. Yeah, let's put it like this. Next, this is a little plug. Next Wednesday the 3rd, in the back of the JCC parking lot at 4 to 6 o'clock, we are teaming up with the police department for the 24th, and we are distributing the club anti-car theft, like a wheel lock device. And we're that's one of our projects. Is we're going to be starting a awareness program and how to do your best to prevent car thefts. So that is one area that we're doing. So we are teaming up with them. If you take a look at our websites, so we are, both our logos are at the same sheet. The police department of the 24th, the POWSAT team, which we're extremely fortunate for, that stands for Place of Worship Safety Advisory Team. There's two officers, Officer Specht and Heath. They are assigned to local shoals, and their primary job is to help secure shoals in the community. So we work hand in hand with them. We probably several times a week, we're talking to each other, helping, working with each other, seeing what things we can do to make the community safe. They actually officially teach one of our classes as well for the Shoal Safety Officer and Greeter program. I don't know if you've seen, we have a chat, we have a community chat. I don't know if anybody on it. So it's a community safety chat. And there's about 1,400 people from the community on it. And we try to keep people abreast of any security situations going on in the neighborhood. Both Officers Specht and Heath are on the channel. They are very important contributors to the channel. So to answer your question, we work extremely closely with the local Chicago police. We are really the conduit that we, the connection between the police department and the community.
Now you talked about getting, I'm saying you talked about getting the rabbis involved. Did you run into any halachic, any Jewish law issues that you've had to deal with specifically as far as Shabbos is concerned, or I don't know, anything else that we may not have thought of that you've run into that's been a Jewish law issue that maybe they've had some hesitation?
Yes. So we just recently started, communication is key. When you're dealing with community safety and security, communication is key. We just started, we have a radio system. We have about 23 radios out there. We use them for different purposes because they have different channels. So we also do crowd safety. I don't know if you've seen us in events where the guys with the yellow
Our
vests,
events where we had our celebration, we had the guys, and the women's program had guys.
Absolutely. That's critical. We try to be there for events to help with crowd safety and security. So part of that is communication. So we have a radio that we're able to communicate to each other with that. We also we are starting now community patrols. We need volunteers, by the way. We're starting community patrols. We're going to be patrolling the neighborhood, cars with the green lights to help deter crime. We act as a second set of eyes or force multiplier for the police. When we see something, we'll call it in, and it works. It's been done in several other communities. Lincoln Park, Waker Park, Peterson Park had it for a while, but we're modeling our program after a Frum Patrol out of Baltimore. It's called Northwest Citizens Patrol. It's a Frum Patrol, and they've been around for 41 years doing a nightly patrol. Very, very successful. And we're basically modeling our patrol after that. So speaking of Rabbanim, we have one of the five biggest Rabbanim signed off on that project. So we have Rabbi First from Aguda, Rabbi Reese from CRC, we have Rabbi Hertz from Chabad, we have Rabbi Robinson, and Rabbi Eichenstein from Chicago Center.
You got the all-star team.
Sorry?
You have the all-star team of rabbis.
Yes, thank God I see it. Again, it's really not rocket science. It's important, something that's very important that needs to get done. And thank God the Rabbanim are I don't say the Rabbanim, the community is understanding that, now's the time that this is really needed. So that's kind of where we've become involved with Rabbanim. We work very closely with the CRC as well as the Chicago Gouda as well, or the Illinois Gouda as well. because things we want to do things per halacha, and we want to do the right thing, especially with the.
Did you find any resistance from anybody who said this is a bad idea? We shouldn't be doing this? Did you find anybody pushing back against any of your activities?
I would say 4 years ago, absolutely. 4 years ago, the Chicago police literally would not talk to us. We were new, we'd improve ourselves. Who are they? And a bunch of people who want to be cowboys, which is the farthest from the truth. And it took time. It took a lot of patience, a lot of time, a lot of developing relationships, and we had to prove ourselves basically. So I think it was the same with the Rabbonim as well. It took time. And now that we've been going on for 7.5 years, thank God, we've been doing a very good job. Got a great team. We got an incredible team that really makes up our whole program, basically. And then because of our track record, the Rabbonim as well as the police are able to be aboard.
So
And
you
then
talk about the team. Can you give us a rough number about how many people are volunteers in Magen? How many people is your team comprised of?
sure. So we have, like I said, over 50 now show safety officers,
Wow.
which are and they are also they do a lot. They do the security for the shows. They do community safety and security. They do events. They'll also be doing the patrol leaders, so they'll be leading the patrols. The patrols will be manned by, we'll call them civilians. So we're going to take our volunteer base from 50 some. We're going to increase that guy willing to over 200 because we're going to need volunteers from the community. So
Okay,
again,
so you
that's
mentioned about
comparable to Tzol.
Tree of Life, the terrible tragedy that took place in Pittsburgh, and you're doing this shul safety, and so then October 7th comes, the tragedy and horror in Eretz Yisrael and how it spilled over in a moment. And we've had a lot of different people who survived October 7th and numerous other people. How did that specific event and what we've seen going on in the streets in America, how has that affected your role over the last couple of months?
I don't want to say totally changed what we're doing because these patrols are actually on the drawing board as of like last January, but they really brought things to the forefront, to the front burner. Um, you know, we knew about people know about anti-Semitism. People choose not to think about it, but it obviously really came to the forefront, and people really understand that this is reality. We saw how quickly it rose, and it's not. I mean, I'm not comparing the two by any means. God forbid, but you could see recently what happened, and you could kind of see how the Holocaust started. I'm not comparing the two by any means, but it's amazing how my father on the show used to joke around saying everybody was an anti-Semite. We used to make fun of him. Not everybody's an anti-Semite. I think he's pretty close.
Wow.
In trying times like this, Jews really see who are friends and who our friends are not. And I don't know about you all, but I felt very lonely as a Jew. Here we are in the world. I went to the Washington rally. As a matter of fact, Magen Chicago was asked by the Chicago Rabbinical Council to do the security for the buses that went there. I went to the rally. I'm a fairly political person, and I go to a lot of rallies. And usually you're excited, the momentum and the atmosphere is very exciting. For me, going to the rally, it was like, why do I have to be here? I have to be here to defend my existence as a human being. So it was kind of it's kind of hard. Of course, I'm glad I was there, but it's like here we have to defend who we are, our right to exist. So it really brought everybody to the forefront with their concerns. Now it's just not show concerns; it's more community concerns. And it was a challenging month. Phones, not nonstop phones. It was difficult. To be honest, it was very very difficult. Running from place to place. Suspicious guy. We do a lot of stuff that the police don't have. Let's say don't have the time to do. Suspicious guy in Jewel. For example. Police, that's doesn't warrant a 911 call. But I totally understood where the person was coming from. So we do these different smaller things to kind of help the community and do our best to help protect the community as well. Again, be a second set of ears for the police, eyes and ears for the police as well. So it really did change things. I think people really understand now. It's just not it's us as in as a as a team. It's us as a community now. So it's just not community safety individual. It's community safety as a whole, as a congregation, as a set of people. And unfortunately, it's real. And it was very trying. And we're doing our best to try to help people with that. We did patrols too initially. There's a lot of stuff going on in the neighborhoods people were concerned about, and we went to try to do our best and aid comfort too. I tell a quick story where there was a guy driving around the neighborhood with a Palestinian flag, which he has a right to do this. It is America, but kind of in a threatening way. That was in Peterson Park, so we were there, and I drove through the alley. I went back of Chodorov, the synagogue on Lincoln, and there was some yeshiva bochum, maybe a little bit over bar mitzvah, about 20 of them, and I drove past them. I thought I liberated a city. They were screaming, so excited to see somebody from the community there to look out for the best interest. So that was a humbling experience. But so yeah, it definitely changed the landscape, I think, for forever. I think, and people really understand now that we have to do our best to try to stay safe. Thank God we're blessed with the Chicago police. We met with the superintendent of Chicago, Superintendent Snelling, with the police as well, and they were great. Chicago really ramped up their resources. You probably remember 6 weeks ago, there was police. The neighborhood was saturated with police. Well, that came from us, the Rabbanim, and the police as well, asking for downtown for more help. So that's why we did we did a thank you note. I don't know if anybody contributed to here. We had about 400 people in the local community write online thank you notes, and we bound it. We gave it to them, thanking them for putting in the extra effort to keeping us safe.
So how do people find out more? How do they get involved? Websites and so on. And then if you'll give us a few moments, if anyone wants to unmute and jump in with a real brief question, we want to give our guest, to take up his whole night. But if you could just give us the information, how do people find out more? How can they volunteer? What do they do if somebody's watching and they want to participate? What's the next step?
Sure. We also have a whole set of classes. We have women's Krav Maga, men's Krav Maga. We do Stop the Bleed. We've delivered 234 classes to the community free of charge, 234 the last 3.5 years. So you could go to our website at Magen, Magen, Chicago.org, go to the event section, and that's how you register for classes. Also, too, if you're a Facebook user or a LinkedIn user too, we post our events as well as what we've done in the past. We have a donate page there as well.
And can people sign up there if they want to volunteer?
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. Fantastic. So magenchicago.org. Magen, Magen, Chicago.org. Okay. If anyone has a question, real brief, we don't want to keep our friend here too long, but jump right in.
I don't have a question, but
Okay.
I just want to say the women's Krav Maga classes are amazing, and that they
Okay.
really give you the skills you need. I've taken many of them, so I suggest any women on here, if you want to go look at the site. It really teaches safety awareness and the skills that you need whenever you're in this parking lot or walking alone or things like that nature. And wanted to say thank you.
Wow. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
have a question.
Sure.
I'm
Loud,
just-
please. Speak up a
Okay.
little.
Well, concerned because with it being a still short days and it gets dark so early, and people still have to get off the bus and go home from work, and I do still see at sunset, which is always my concern, of women or little kids walking by themselves. I mean, can you really call somebody? Is there a phone number? I wouldn't want to abuse the number in case you just feel uncomfortable or you see somebody that I wish they weren't walking alone by themselves. Are you really like on call, like you said? There was someone in the Jewel.
So we are developing our what's called rapid response team. It's still fairly new and it's in development, and we're going to do our best we can and improve on it. We have a 1-844 number, so it's 844 Magen CHI. If it's emergency, you'll be prompted. Press number 1. We'll do our best. Again, that is in development. We are increasing that. That's probably one of our news programs.
He's saying
we
844. I'm just putting it in the chat. MAGENCHI.
Right.
Okay, what are the numbers for that? Do you happen to know offhand?
I don't. Sorry.
Okay, I'll look it up while you talk. You talk. I'll look it up.
We also are once our patrols. Like I said, we're going to be starting patrols. Going in about 2 weeks. We're also going to have what's called a watchful eye program. What a watchful eye program is, right? You get dropped off at a bus stop, or you're going in and out of your car from Jewel, whatever. You'll let us know ahead of time. We'll schedule. And we'll get one of the people on patrol will be outside your house, keeping an eye on you while you enter and exit your house. It's called the watchful eye program.
I just posted the number there, so people can have it. And anyone else got a quick question?
Rabbi,
Yes,
I
Leslie?
have a,
Sure.
oh,
Okay, somebody jump in, but speak
Oh,
up a little bit.
I have a question. I missed a little bit. I hope you didn't already, maybe you addressed this. What are the parameters of how, the distance that you guys travel? I shouldn't say guys, women, your team. Is it only Chicago? Is it Lincolnwood, Skokie? How far?
So right now we want to set ourselves up for success. We don't want to bite off more than we can chew. So right now we're in Chicago and Peterson Park.
Okay.
And then our next step would be Lincolnwood, and then phase 3 would be Skokie.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Leslie?
I'm looking at the class, it's tomorrow. But I wondered if you ever have classes during the day.
Not currently, just because we're trying to, it's hard to get everybody scheduled together, but Sunday nights and once during the week later, it seems to work with most.
Thank you.
Jay?
Yeah, you've kind of hinted around a little bit, but for your greeters and officers, and I'm not hesitant to use this word, do you teach or train them in profiling also? Especially the greeters, I assume your greeters are not armed, but I don't know for sure, but is profiling, if I can use that term, part of your training?
So I don't want to say profiling, as you know, Israel uses it very successfully. So I'm not going to say we profile. Although he looks Middle Eastern, we're gonna, grill him. Very simple. If you not, we teach our greeters very simple. So I would say no, it's not profiling. If you've not seen anyone at the show before, then we don't grill them. We have a nice conversation. Good job, us. My name's Chiam. What's your name? Jay. Jay, nice to see you. Where are you from? First time we've seen you here. Welcome. Where are you from? You have a nice conversation. Long story short, so we were doing this at an event with one of our guys, and somebody it wasn't profile, he looked different than the average person. He just stuck out. His clothing, his mannerism looked different. So that's where the conversation comes. And within 3 or 4 nicely phrased questions, he found out, same as Bob, one of our guys, he found out that this guy went to the yeshiva with his son in Israel. So no, we don't profile. We have nice conversations with people, and you can learn a lot. And you could also tell if someone's lying, if they're nervous, and you can learn a lot from the conversation. If you ever travel in El Al, right, it's a nice conversation, and they can learn a lot from just that conversation. So no, we don't profile. But if someone is not there at that show, we don't know who they are. Everybody gets a nice question.
Just to share one strategy that I try is when I know somebody who is going to be coming who hasn't come before, if it's not awkward, I try to get a picture and then I just send it. We have a chat on our shul of the people on the safety committee, and I say, hey, this guy's coming. I mean, we just had one particular incident. The guy is not particularly familiar with the shul protocol, but he was going to come, and he doesn't speak the lingo, Shabbos. These are not familiar words, but I know him, and on his WhatsApp profile was his picture. So I took a screenshot of that. I sent it to our team. I said, this guy's coming. I know him. This is his name. When he comes, he's cool. He's on our team and that type
That's
of
great.
thing. And it's people appreciate it. Nobody's ever said, well, I'm not coming to the shul. They keep asking me. Everybody is appreciative that they're safe, and they realize that they've never been here before. Nobody knows them. And like you said, it's a nice conversation. It's not aggressive or rude. And people appreciate it because they feel safe for themselves, because they know, anybody can show, it's a funny balance. You want to be welcoming and you want everyone to feel that they can come, but you don't want anyone, who shouldn't be there. Okay.
Absolutely. It's a great idea.
Okay. So thank you very much. And if anyone else has a question, otherwise we're going to let you go. We really, really appreciate your time. And of course, we really appreciate what you and your whole team are doing to keep us safe. And, it's a great, great service to the community, and it is greatly, greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. And everybody, we'll see you tomorrow night for some Tehillim learning. And we wish everyone a good night. Thank you again.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you all.
Hatzlach.
Thank you.
Yasher koach.